Burnout is not a badge of honor. It's a blockage to abundance. Let's get into it. Yeah. Hello, beautiful. You tuned in to She's Beyond Elevated with Dr. Kimberly Dunlap, the space where purpose meets power and faith meets execution. Here, we don't play small. We rise, we heal, and we elevate on every level. So get ready to shift your mindset, reclaim your brilliance, and step into the version of you that's been waiting to emerge. Let's get into it. Welcome back, beautiful. You're listening to She's Beyond Elevated, the podcast for brilliant women of color who are done being overworked, underpaid, and underestimated. So today's episode is for the powerful woman who's just tired of being tired. I remember my great grandmother used to say, you'll get sick and tired of just being sick and tired. So it's called The High Value Woman's Guide to Having It All Without Burnout. Okay? So because success shouldn't cost you your softness, and ambition should never require you to abandon who you truly are. Okay. So let me just start with this. You can have it all. Contrary to what the middle-aged white man in corporate America has said to you, you can have it all, but only if you first define what all means to you. And I use air quotes because it's not truly defined by definition. It's defined by personal desire. Having it all isn't about doing everything. You can't. And as a high value woman, the sooner you learn that your time is your checkbook, you'll go a long way, right? So having it all and being able to define what all means to you looks different for each one of us. So for me, having it all is location freedom and time freedom, right? So I get to live and go and visit and do all of the things wherever I want. And I get to decide what my time or usage of my time looks like. For other people, it is having the title associated with their years of study. Some of it is, some people's having it all is all of the monetary assets that they're able to acquire in their lifetime or however. So it all looks different for all of us. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Money is a good thing. It is not a bad thing. Money is a good thing, but that is just not my number one motivating factor. Being able to work from anywhere I desire, to be able to live wherever I want to be able to visit and see the places and all of the things, that's more valuable to me than anything. But of course, you got to have money in order to be able to do that as well. So again, we never stray too far away from wealth management over here. Because wealth is the difference between having it all and doing it all while having it all, right? So having it all isn't, again, about doing everything. It's about curating the life or your life with intention. So the things that mean the most to you are the things that you focus on, right? It's about designing a lifestyle that honors your values, your energy, and your calling, the way that you want your life to look. Somewhere along the way, we started equating success with exhaustion, right? And the truth is, burnout is not your birthright. If you think about the first book of the Bible, even God rested on the seventh day. He wasn't going at it 7 days in a week, so rest is good. Like it's a good thing. And I don't want you to misequate rest with sleep. Okay. Because while sleep is important, sleep is different than rest. Okay? Burnout's not your birthright. You were not created to be here to work 16 hours a day, 8 hours off, and to do that 7 days a week. That's what the kids say. That's not the vibe. Like that. Yeah, we not doing that. The world celebrates women who carry everything. Okay? The women who say yes to everyone. The women who show up all the time, even when they're breaking apart. And it almost is a stigma attached to motivated or high achieving women taking rest. I am so glad that we're in a space nowadays where people celebrate you resting. People celebrate you taking vacations and all of this. And I'm not talking about the Instagram trips that you see where, everybody's floating on the same board and taking the same photo. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about corporations and women's groups and things that are actually focused on women resting and relaxing and enjoying the life that they've created for themselves, and also their mental health, which we'll talk about that on a whole nother show. But what no one really tells you is you don't earn your value by doing the most. You really earn your value by knowing it's already built in. For knowing your value is a direct correlation of how valuable you are and that you believe that you are. Because if we want to be completely transparent, and I know sometimes it sounds like I am not a proponent of education, but if you think about it, you go to school, right? And I'll speak for myself. Okay. I went to school, skipped vacations, skipped time off, skipped sleep, sometimes eating right, health, gym, the whole thing. I got a degree. And after I received this piece of paper, right, I really was the same person as I was prior to, right? Because that paper doesn't truly define who you are. You go, you take classes, right? Most times the goal is to get a good grade in the class. So you try to absorb all of the information. You only really retain maybe about 10 to 15% of what you learn in a 4-year degree. 10 to 15%, because most of it is absorption, regurgitation. And once you regurgitated it for the purpose, whether it's that exam, that paper, that the presentation or project or whatever, only about 10% of it actually sticks around. Right? So being high value isn't about hustling more. So we've been taught, I'm a hustler, and that no longer should be a compliment for you. Okay? Being high value is about boundaries. It's about setting standards. It's about intentionality and even just your own inner peace. That's really, truly what it's all about. Okay? So here's how high value women think differently than other women. I'm going to give you these 4 things, right? So number 1, they protect their energy like it's currency. Every yes is an investment, and every no is protection. So every yes that you give for your time, your energy, and the things that you are going to focus on should be in some way built to enhance the life that you truly want to live. An investment into your future, into all of the things that you desire or the life that you are curating for yourself. And every no that you give, number one, is a complete sentence. And number two, it is protecting that time, that space, that energy for something that could be a better transition into the life that you're curating for yourself. Number two, high value women build systems that support their softness. So whether that's a team, your virtual assistants, your stylists, your nail tech, whatever, whether that's technology, having AI answer some of your emails for you, whether that's therapy, talking about the things that kept you blocked as a young girl and dealing with past traumas and generational issues and things such as that, or just taking time off. Taking a weekend every year to hang out with your girls, or, meet up with people who feed into your spirit, that give you joy that you cannot otherwise find in other arenas in your life. Those things that high value women invest in and they create, and those things are non-negotiable, right? So when I think of non-negotiable, for me, the first hour of my day is non-negotiable. When I wake up, even if I'm not out of bed, most times I'm not, but I am visualizing my future in 5 years. I'm visualizing what I need to get accomplished for the day. I am laying in a place of gratitude and being ever so grateful for being on this side of life that day. I don't answer emails. I don't answer text messages. I don't pick up my phone, to be completely honest with you. I have eliminated my phone being in the bed with me. I do not. My phone is away from me on a charger, near my bed, but it's not in the bed with me. Right. And then another time that's non-negotiable for me is the last 15 minutes of my day. I don't care how tired I am. I don't care what my day looked like. I take those last 15 minutes. They're non-negotiable. I breathe. Right. I pray. And I sit in another place of gratitude. And before I drift off into dreamland, I visualize what my life is going to look like when I finally give it a chef's kiss and say, mwah, it's done. This is what I've been creating all these years. So that's that. Number three, they monetize their brilliance, not their burnout. So you weren't called to be drained. You were truly called to be dynamic. So being drained is not a badge of honor. You don't look good just because you have neglected your skincare and neglected your hair and neglected your friends, and you're working 16-hour days, 7 days a week. And if your 2-year-old didn't scream, you probably would forget they were sitting there. That is not what you were created to do. Right? High value women monetize their brilliance. So most often, high value women do not put an appropriate price tag on their gifts and talents. And the reason that they don't put an appropriate price tag on their gifts and talents is because it comes so easy to you that you almost feel like robbery asking someone to pay for something that took you no time to do. But here's the clincher. That same item, thing, gift, talent would have taken someone else days, if not weeks, to do. And when you think about charging for those things, think about how much time you could save them by just doing it for them at a premium price. And it would save them time, energy, and effort. And it would get them from point A to point B faster, right? So I want you to think about those types of things when you think about charging for your brilliance. What comes easy to you is a chore and a task for someone else, right? And number 4, high value women don't hustle for access. They truly create their own rooms. A high value woman doesn't beg to be seen. She doesn't beg to get invited. She becomes okay without the invitation. She becomes okay with not being invited, because that gives her the opportunity to curate the event that she wants, to have control over the room that she wants to build for her and others coming behind her, right? So she's not so much concerned about having a seat at your table. She just builds her own table, brings in some other exceptional women to sit around it with her, and she gets to build the room, the space, and the energy that she desires. Right? So you may have been raised on the struggle, but we getting off the struggle bus, because being conditioned to think that ease is laziness is absurd. We were taught that if you were taught that being tired, right, means that you've been working hard enough, I want you to dispel that today. You do not have to be tired in order to have accomplished things, because when you operate in your gifts and your geniuses, I'm going to be the first to tell you, and here's a secret: it doesn't even feel like work. You can do it for hours and hours and hours on end and never be tired. Someone has to stop you from doing it. That's how you know it's your gift, right? It's your zone of genius, because you can do it for hours and and get so encapsulated in the task that it doesn't even feel like work. You're not tired anymore. Right? Survival may have served you before. Okay. But beautiful, ease is holy, right? Resting is wealth, and your softness is a strategy. I am so glad that we're in a place now to where there has really truly been a light shone upon mental health and taking care of ourselves, because that wasn't always so. And it saddens me to think about how many women burned out under that pressure. So you don't have to be in survival mode any longer, right? The survival season, riding the struggle bus, we shall overcome, all of that, it's gone. We are in the era of overflow. We're in the era of operating in our geniuses, our gifts, moving in our mantles. We are in that era. Right? So here's your power prompt for today. Where in your life are you over functioning? Work, motherhood, wifehood, friendship, sisterhood, wherever. And what would it actually look like to let ease lead the way? Okay, so let me give you an example. Often as mothers, we want our children to be so prim and so proper and so forth. And I'm guilty. I wanted them to pick up the toys as soon as I didn't want them to leave a mess. I wanted them to pick up the toys as soon as they got finished with them. But you know what I'm learning? If it saves me, right, some energy to think about them picking up the toys in 20 minutes versus leaving them there and making them pick them up in an hour, what's the difference in 40 minutes? So everything is about making your life easier. Operating in that ease. Now, I want you to say this with me. I get to be powerful and protected. I get to earn without exhaustion, and I get to have it all on my terms. If you're ready to trade burnout for boundaries or build a soft, strategic life, download my career confidence blueprint. Okay, I'm going to put all of the descriptions in the show notes. Okay. And if you want support, just stepping into your elevated identity, your elevated income, please go ahead and reach out. Right? Let's see how we can work together. Even if I am not a good fit for you, I will make sure through my resources that you get to the place that you need to be. Because this isn't about just working for me. This is about a movement. I want you to step into the version of you that looks like wealth, that looks like ease, looks like rest, looks like the life that you have curated in your dreams. So until next time, remember, you weren't born to blend in. You were built to break ceilings, break out of boxes, and break generational curses. Stay bold, stay brilliant, and stay beyond elevated. Until next time, bye-bye. Well, beautiful, thank you for tuning in to She's Beyond Elevated with Dr. Kimberly Dunlap. If this episode spoke to your soul, share it with another woman ready to rise. Remember, elevation isn't a destination, it's a decision. Keep shining, keep walking in purpose, and I'll see you in the next episode.